Ah, well. Leg day today. Got me a new look camera, you hear me? So I'm not recording with my phone anymore. So if I ever wanted to do some type of content where I might be answering any questions or something from my phone, I don't know, I could be doing that. Who knows? But anyways, got this little Osmo Pocket, you feel me? Joel put me on, shout out to Joel. But actually had it prepared last week, but apparently an Osmo needs its own tripod, so I had to go get a tripod for an Osmo too. So here we are now. But don't have anything in particular today, so we'll just talk about some random stuff. I'll go through my phone and may see any type of questions that may have been asked before, and we'll answer them. So this is unplanned programming here. I hate this machine, but it is what it is. It's the best leg curl they got in here. Well, it's not like there's really too many options, huh? But today I'm gonna play with a leg curl. Don't really feel like doing the free weight 45s today. We're gonna keep it cool. We're gonna keep it cool today. Yeah, man, it's like, well, whew, man. So I'm playing with this cut right now, dude. I'm a very impatient person, so it's quite aggressive. I'm pretty weak right now. A lot of stuff I'm significantly weaker in. Is that a big deal? No. It's not a big deal, especially considering, I mean, I'm also not natural. I mean, I definitely have nothing to worry about here. But if I'm looking at it from a perspective of a natural lifter, dude, it's like, just keep your protein intake in check, okay? As long as if you need to increase it a little bit, that's fine, I mean, but as long as your protein's in a good spot, you really don't have much to worry about. Like, still focus on being as strong as you could be, you know? Like, if you want to do an aggressive cut, fine. If you don't, fine. Who cares? Like, that stuff is so minuscule, dude. If you so happen to lose anything, so what? Because there's going to come a point that you're no longer in a cut anyway, so who cares, bro? Who cares? There's going to come a point where you're eventually not in that cut, and you'll be eating enough to where you're pretty strong again. Like, who cares, man? Who cares? Like, a lot of you guys overcomplicate that, and y'all act like, oh no, if I do so happen to lose some muscle, I'll never be able to get it back. Like, what? Dude, just relax, dude. That's sheesh. If it's that big of a deal to you, don't do an aggressive cut. That's like that. You can't get any simpler than that. Like, that's the most annoying question that I get. It's like, should I aggressive cut? Should I aggressive cut? Do whatever you want to do. If it bothers you, don't do it. If you want to do it, do it. Simple as that, bro. But I know for me, hey, who cares? Like, yeah, so what? I'm pretty weak with a lot of stuff right now, but I know for a fact, once I put food back in a good spot, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So. Well, they do have another leg curl in here actually, but you know, all of this, pretty much most stuff in here is hoist. But that other leg curl actually like moves when you curl. It's still this ridiculous shin pad though. But at least that one I'd be able to pin load it, because I'm looking at this, even while I'm weak right now, I still got the machine maxed out. So I'll end up having to actually play with that other leg curl I just wanted to use this one because I don't like moving too often. So I'll end up having to go back over there to pin load stuff. So that's that. But let's see what I can look and find on my phone for anything I might want to answer, huh? Let's see. All right. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. DMs are getting out of hand. I can't keep up. I gotta keep it a buck. I can't keep up with these DMs. Let's keep it a buck. All right. Like, it used to be easy when, I had like 4,000 or 5,000 followers. Get 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 DMs a day. Shoot, dude. I'm pushing 30K followers now on Instagram, 40K on TikTok. I can't keep up. Really, I couldn't keep up 10,000 followers ago. But now, nah, I can't. I'm sorry. You guys gotta understand, man. I'm a coach. Priority, my time, priority, it's gonna be for clients. So if you want my time, man, you come on. But I got a question about how to get closer with God. That's a great question to start with, man. Like, how to build a relationship with God. If you really want to think about it, even if you want to put it in a perspective where it's like, let's say if you have a friend, like someone you become friends with or something, or if you want to talk about like, a girlfriend or a wife or whatever. In order to improve a relationship, you put time into that relationship, right? So let's say like husband and wife situation. Well, hey, y'all go on dates, y'all figure out what y'all like, or which you figure out what the other person likes, and you make sure you take care of those things that they like. You just pretty much, you build a bond and do all the things that they like, and make sure you don't do all the things they dislike. So when it comes to God, dude, you read about Jesus, learn about Jesus, dude. Learn the things that he likes, learn the things that he dislikes. Pray, talk to God, and then read your word, study your word, spend time with God, dude. Like, that's how you build a relationship. I find the easiest way to study is using a Dake's reference Bible. I got that one from my dad. I got a Dake's reference Bible, dude. You can literally, like, if you're, like, this is when I tell people about studying. It's like, dude, you can literally read like 2 or 3 scriptures. Next thing you know, if you're using like a reference Bible, you could end up in 2, 3, 4 different books in the Bible just because of the amount of references that are in the Bible. If I remember correctly, it is 63,377. I don't know. I'll have to go back and check, but it's a lot. But you can basically end up studying literally 2 verses and end up at a bunch of other verses in different chapters because a lot of them connect with each other. So it's pretty cool. So, of course, if you're looking to study or get a better relationship with God, of course, pray, spend time with God. Do things that are Christian-like, do things that, make sure you avoid things that, God dislikes. And if it comes to studying, like I said, the Dake's Reference Bible is great. You can also play with a Strong's Concordance. I think a lot of people have issues with like reading the Bible word for word in English. Like, so when you have people that ask like, how can Jesus be God? It's like, well, I mean, dude, there's different translations of God in the Bible. But I mean, you wouldn't know that if you just read King James all the time. But a Strong's Concordance, it'll have like Greek and Hebrew translations for you. And you can see all the different translations for each word. So like love, there's not only one word for love in the Bible, translation-wise, So hopefully that helps you guys understand, like, if you're going to study, like actually study. You can't really know or learn the Bible just reading King James. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I were to give you a good translation to use, English Standard Version is also good. But like I said, using a reference Bible will help you understand a lot of the stuff. Using a Strong's Concordance will also help you understand the different translations for a lot of the words in there. Because again, I mean, dude, you have multiple translations for literally the same words that you may be reading in English. So, I hate this machine. All right, leg extensions here. So I did 2 sets of calf raises, 2 sets of the leg curl. I'm gonna play with this leg extension here. If you've seen me do, I've done the other leg extension here. This is the one that moves, unfortunately, but it's not all that bad now considering I have a gym pin. I can just throw the gym pin on there. Kind of getting tired of doing single legs. So I'm gonna see how this feels with the gym pin, and we'll go from there. Because I haven't tried this since I've gotten the gym pin, because I've been doing leg extensions over there, single leg, because too darn strong. But I got some heat I'm finna drop on TikTok, because apparently the informational posts that I drop, they don't do no numbers. So I'm finna show people what I realized, with my biceps. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to grow your biceps. So I'm gonna drop this heat right here. Yeah, this is absolute heat. Yeah, this is heat. Can this fit, please? Please. All right. Okay. I'm already almost not a fan of this, because this is not something I'll be able to play with for too long. Like I said, dude, I'm weak. This is gonna be like my weakest state right now, and I'm already here. We got this on here. I mean, I might be able to finesse the other gym pin underneath, but nah, it's not gonna work out, because they got this thing here all in the way, so I can't put that many plates on. And this is barely gonna be a working set. The two plates is barely gonna be a working set. 345 plus 90, 435. It's hardly going to be a working set, man. So maybe for me, single leg is going to have to work in here. There's too much in the way to finesse that second gym pin, honestly. Oh well. Let's go ahead and get this cardio set out of the way. Okay, actually not that bad. Not too bad. What was that, 6, 7? Okay, 6 or 7. Just understand we're not gonna be able to play here too long. I know that for sure. 6 or 7. Whew. We'll do 2 sets here. Okay. So actually, I got, I got something I can talk about. So someone asked me, do they have to do a squat pattern to maximize quad growth? And I told him, I said, dude, you've been following me. You've been following me for a year. No way you're asking me that. So it turned out to be a question that I didn't answer. The only way he's going to get this answer is if he watches this YouTube video. So I hope you're watching. But no, you don't need to do a squat pattern. Okay. And no, I'm not saying this because Paul recently posted this. I'm saying this because I also understand how these things work. Because he mentioned some things in that post that I've also mentioned. Like the eccentrics versus concentrics. I made that post a week and a half ago about if you play with things in less damaging positions, you can train them more frequently, right? I mentioned like the tricep situation. If you experiment with an overhead tricep exercise, like literally try it. You don't need studies for this. You can go do it. You can do one arm overhead for 2 or 3 sets. Do the other arm with like more of a shortened, biased. So like let's say the banded 45 or the banded extensions. Play banded extensions this arm, overhead this arm. See how long each side takes to recover. Okay, and you'll literally see what I'm talking about. Okay, so the thing is with like squats, you can do them. I mean, for the most part, majority of you, like he said, I mean, a lot of y'all not getting on stage. What does it matter? So the fact that you may need to bias the other 3 vasti, like as long as you get really strong with leg extensions, you're not necessarily going to need a squat. Okay, so don't take this as me saying, oh, don't squat all of a sudden. Like, let's not go there. Okay. Because as he mentioned, it would be a good idea if you did leg extensions before squats. And that's just simply for the sake of, hey, you're doing the movement that's a little less damaging first. And then you can just do a single set of like a squat variation. Like you don't need that many, you don't need a bunch of sets of squats, right? Like I would much rather, I mean, this is practical application. Once you understand a lot of stuff, it to me is common sense, but some of you is like, I don't get it. Like, well, yeah. If I were to tell someone to increase their volume with quads, it wouldn't be from a squat, because for one, the majority of squat movements or squat patterns, they're lengthened bias, unless you want to bring up like a pendulum squat. Like, if anything, I would tell you you can do a few more sets with like the pendulum squat compared to say like a hack squat. You'll notice a difference, right? I would do a second set of a pendulum squat before I do a second set of a hack squat. But either way, they're both, like, a squat is very taxing. I would much rather just keep it in one set and move on, right? And just, if I wanted to increase volume for quads, hey, I got leg extensions, Like, so overall, if you wanted to get the best out of your quads as possible, leg extensions are just fine, right? Playing with them first, great idea. If you wanted specifically to have your squat stronger, then fine. Like for the sake of just having a stronger squat, fine, who cares? But coming from a hypertrophy standpoint, you don't have to really worry all that much about squats, okay? So don't take this out of context, right? Just understand based on certain positions that you're loading, right? Like if you're playing with more lengthened bias movements or just things that deal with more damage, it's going to take longer to recover from. Simple as that. So hopefully that kind of helps y'all understand that, right? So like I feel like, and again, they're less taxing. Like squats, they're so taxing it's not even funny. Especially if you lift as heavy as I lift. No. So it's more taxing plus a bit more damaging too. So it's just easier to, let me go ahead and just do this leg extension. And then you're gonna have people that's gonna be like, you wanna do what's easy. No, I'm just doing things that make common sense. Like if you understand a lot of physiology, it's common sense. Sorry you don't have common sense and you're stuck in these old bodybuilding ages. That's gonna bring me to another topic in a second. All right. Moving on. Okay. So, before I actually move on, so just understand, I mean, just because you're not sore doesn't mean you're not doing anything. I mean, if you know that you're training hard, you're taking things pretty close to failure, you're fine. Don't expect to be sore, okay? That's not a good metric at all. Because if you're not sore all the time, you're not beat up all the time, that is a very great sign that you're doing things right, especially if you're progressing, okay? Anything else that, any other recent questions? Let me see, actually. Let me look and see. The concept of maximum recoverable volume. So, I mean, that actually kind of goes in with some of the stuff I was mentioning earlier. Like, you can't exactly just automatically go based off of your number of sets that you're doing. Like I've said, I mean, dude, pick somewhere between 4 to 10 sets a week. You're perfectly fine, right? But then also, it's not like you're not going to recover the same doing, like, let's say 5 sets of something. Like, let's say, okay, if I'm in a session, again, like we mentioned earlier with, like, let's say triceps, you're not going to recover the same if you have 3 sets from something in a lengthened bias stuff or position as compared to, like, 3 with the short and biased, right? You're not going to recover the same. So you can imagine if you put it together for a week and you're trying to talk about maximum recoverable volume, like, let's piece things together here, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and build no split for you to tell you what to do. Piece the stuff together. Let's see. Log booking, no, I don't log book. I don't care to log book. I mean, you can kind of notice if you're getting stronger or not. I don't know. You can logbook, but don't make it seem as if, oh, I'm in the wrong for not logbooking. Like, I don't care. If you don't care to logbook, don't do it. If you care to logbook, go ahead. But, like, for the most part, I mean, I record most of my stuff, you know, because I end up posting it on social media. So I can always go back and look and see what I did. It's not that difficult. So, I mean, technically, I guess I'm somewhat tracking. Technically, because I can always go back and look. But other than that, no, I don't keep a logbook. I don't really care that much. How do we know we're doing the right amount of volume? Yeah, that goes in with the maximum. Yeah, you're fine. Like I said, between 4 and 10 sets a week, you're fine. Structuring a UL split, LOL. I'm not making no kind of content that has anything to do with structuring splits. I'm not doing it. I don't care. I'm not doing it. You know, because if you genuinely needed that kind of help, you would go join a training group or you would apply for coaching if you really wanted that help. So, no, I'm not doing no type of content where I'm just, oh, hey, here's how you set up a split, and I'm not doing that. A little tight on this side, huh? It's all right. We'll leave one in the tank there. Because I might do adductors in my next session, so depends. Like I've mentioned before, there's certain times where I'm doing certain muscle groups each session. It just depends how I feel and how many total sets I'm doing for that muscle group in that section or session. So I'm somewhat doing a full body split, kind of. Somewhat. It's somewhat. but I don't like giving it an exact name because I do whatever I feel like doing. So there's going to be a day where it technically may be full body, and there's going to be a day where it may be lower body or it may be upper body. I don't have exacts with that. So let's see what I have left. Did calves, did quads, did hamstrings. Slight with glutes here, but I'll play with a banded 45 and then we'll be able to call it a day actually. So I'm gonna play with these banded 45s. Might do 2 sets here because I have room to play with 2 sets, right? So again, from a standpoint where it's like, one, this is not a very taxing movement. So like compared to hip thrust, like there's times I've done these for 3 sets, but like hip thrust, there's not a chance I'll do for 3 sets, especially not with the amount of weight that I lift with hip thrust. Like hip thrust, 1 set, 2 sets tops. It'll be 2 sets tops. But here I can play with. I don't mind playing with 3 sometimes, but you know, if you're ever looking to increase volume for a given muscle group in a session, make sure the exercise, like the task that you are doing, isn't very taxing, and that it also isn't very damaging either. But considering I already did 1 set of abductions, I might do 2 sets here. It could be 1. It could be 1, but we'll see. Ouch. Lats kind of got a little tight there for whatever reason, but I can do 2 sets, whatever. But yeah, that's. Oh, there was something else I was looking at. Increased injury risk with lower reps. There's got to be context to that, because I did make a post about someone tried to say there's like 1 to 4 injuries per 1,000 hours of powerlifting, and it's like, dude, that's not a lot. Like that's not a lot. So that would mean the average powerlifter could experience a single injury every 3.5-ish years. You know, that's not a lot. But then again, if you're doing things properly, it's like if you progress properly, it's really hard to hurt yourself. Okay. Is the risk of injury lower with a bit higher reps? Sure. But that doesn't mean anything. Really, if anything, that just means, hey, you choose to be a little bit more fragile, and that's fine. But that doesn't mean, just because anyone's doing heavier loads, it doesn't mean, oh, hey, they're at a greater risk of injury. Who? You gotta understand who's in the context. Would I say that someone that always does high reps and then all of a sudden tries to do low reps with heavier loads, like they could be at a greater risk? But me? Like when I've curled 80-pound dumbbells and people are looking like, oh no, you're at a high risk of injury. How? How? Like I literally progressed that. Like that's something that I progressed, and I progressed it properly. Like I'm very strong in those ranges of motion. How am I at risk? You got to really understand context for a lot of that stuff. So I can't just automatically say that's an increased risk of injury. Because one, you got to understand who it is, and you got to understand how they've progressed. And then you also have to understand muscles aren't the only thing that adapt. The body's going to, there's going to be adaptations outside of just you getting stronger, right? So that's kind of a weird thing there. Where should people go to learn? Oh, I get some stuff often about where to get certain studies from, and like studies that are good to use. I mean, Google Scholar is no different than, I mean, we're all using the same stuff. You might not know about Google Scholar, and that's understandable, but either way, you use, it's going to be the same study regardless. I guess the issue, I mean, you just got to know how to read them. That's really what it comes down to. You got to know how to read it and be able to make connections to other studies. Because I guess the people that are trying now don't exactly have a knowledge base. So that's why things may be confusing to them. They don't really have a knowledge base. Like, it would be nice if you understood some basic physiology first. Like, it would be nice if you understood some basic anatomy first before you're trying to dive into the studies, you know, that we're looking at. Like, you gotta have a base. That's probably why a lot of this stuff is confusing, but let me finish this last set. I think I've done enough yapping today. Darn lats tightening up. Okay. That's that for today, man. I don't know. That's it. If y'all got any ideas, of course, let me know. But hey, man, y'all, you know, God bless, man. Whew. Carry on.